So, do you need 10,000 steps a day? Or is it even enough if you get 10,000 steps per day? In this video, I'm going to tell you why the number of steps is not actually that important. And it has to do something with the fact that not all steps are the same. But before we go to that, I want to tell just a short history. How did the 10,000 step limit came? In Japan, there was a company which was doing a pedometer. They wanted the name for this device, and in Japanese, the character for 1000 looks like a running man. So they thought that something related to 1000 is good, but 1000 steps per day, it's not enough. And then 100,000 steps per day is probably a little bit too challenging, so 10,000 steps it would be. So 10,000 steps has absolutely no research behind it. So let's go to the first point why number of steps is not so important. And that is that intensity makes a difference. Intensity defines which biological systems of our body are strained, and the ones that are strained are being improved or their function is being maintained. And harder we strain those systems, bigger the improvements are. So intensity is crucial. So let's take this for a spin and go for a walk and think about this a little bit deeper and in detail. So I start walking slowly. This is clearly more physical activity than sitting or standing. That's not the question. My muscles are working lightly, and in every muscle we have slow type 1 muscle fibers, fast 2A and 2B muscle fibers. But this is not hard work for my muscles, so I can do this easily with my type 1 muscle fibers. So I'm not using at all my 2A or 2B muscle fibers or the nerves innervating them. So basically this kind of walking doesn't give any stimulus for my 2A and 2B muscle fibers, so they are not improving or maintaining their function with this kind of walking. Now I started to go uphill, and I can clearly feel that when I'm talking and doing this video, I start to get a little bit out of breath. So basically now my heart needs to start pumping more oxygen. My muscles will have some challenges generating the energy fast enough, and this is clearly straining my cardiovascular system. So this is giving a stimulus for improvements, a little bit depending of course on my fitness. And now if I speed up a little bit more, I feel that my muscles are actually need to do much more work. So basically I start probably activating a little bit of my 2A muscle fibers. So actually they get a training stimulus from a walking like this, and my energy expenditure is probably now from twofold compared to resting. It is probably threefold at least. So these steps are much more than the light steps. So if I take this kind of steps, one more intensive step is definitely worth 2, 3, even 4 steps of light intensity. I'm not saying that light intensity steps are not beneficial, but there is a thing called dose response. And dose response states that higher the stimulus for improvement, higher the gains. So with less, more intensive steps, you get more fitness increments. We can go even that far that if we say that you do something super intensive Like for example, you use an ergometer, cycle ergometer, and you go as hard as possible for 30 seconds. This is a really big stimulus for all systems in your body, and this will actually improve your fitness a lot. I don't recommend this kind of exercise for people who haven't done much exercise, because it is not very pleasurable experience. You probably won't stick doing it, and it takes a long time to recover, and if you're not used to, there might be some, it might induce inflammation. It just might be too much for you. But just as an example, even just 1 minute a day of movement can be a big stimulus for your fitness gains, for your cardiovascular system, basically for all systems in your body. So it is really not about the amount of steps, but intensity plays a crucial role. So as said, intensity is important in relation to steps. Another important thing is the timing of the steps. So you probably all know that sitting too much is not good for you, but also long sitting periods are not good for you. And how to then break long sitting periods is by taking steps. So if you're sitting more than 30 to 60 minutes without activating your big muscle groups from your legs at all, your body goes into a certain metabolic hibernation mode. But the good news with this is that you can actually prevent this by just being active for 1 to 2 minutes, which in steps equals like 100 to 200 steps. So if we think that you need just 100 steps to prevent your body going to a metabolic hibernation, and you would break up sitting every 30 minutes with 100 steps, and you are awake, let's say 16 hours, so that would mean that you would have 32 breaks, and 32 multiplied by 100 would be 3,200 steps. So if you cannot take more than that amount of steps, if you take them throughout the day, they are actually really beneficial, because you can fully prevent your body going to a hibernation mode due to long sitting periods. So important point related to this is that you should take steps throughout the day and not only in big chunks, because then you probably are inactive the other times, and this is not good for your health. There are also other things related to timing of the steps and timing of sedentary behavior. For example, there's evidence that if you start to sit right away after you have eaten a meal, this is not good for your insulin and glucose dynamics. So actually steps taken after a meal are more valuable than steps taken on other times. So to summarize, there are 3 important points related to steps, which is number of the steps, and pretty much everyone is talking about it, but as important is the intensity of the steps that you take and also the timing of them. So number is good if it's high, but it's also really important that you have some steps which are intensive. Those are more valuable than the light intensity steps, and then the timing makes a big difference. So take a lot of steps, have some of them with the higher intensity, and have them throughout the day. And I think one important point is that don't pay too much attention to your steps. Don't pay too much attention to your intensity. Stop exercising and just start enjoy movement, and steps will come, health effects will come. So just enjoy moving and forget about the numbers. So if you like the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and if you want to be notified about the new videos that I'm making, hit also the bell icon. So thanks for watching, and let me know in the comments, what do you think about these points? Do you agree with them? Do you disagree with them? And let me know how many steps you take, and do you take them throughout the day. Thanks for watching. That went well. Getting out of breath actually. And actually for me, I have a gimbal and a camera, and this is a good training for my arm muscle. It starts to be, I start to feel a burning sensation in my shoulder. So actually some steps might be a little bit more challenging, so one step there might be worth two. It's measuring the steps, and you should put your phone off when you